Reptiles, scaly monsters from another time, relics of a bygone era where foul beasts ruled the earth. Cold-blooded and slow, reptiles are often considered primitive, but don't be fooled. They can be surprisingly fast, complex, intelligent, and even social. We think we mammals rule the world, but reptiles have been here for twice as long, and they are still going strong today. The dead of night. Strangers alone in a primordial swamp. Something's watching them. Eyes glisten in the night. These are biologists in South America, studying spectacled caiman. Reptiles are like creatures from another time, cryptic, mystifying. They fascinate and frighten. We are compelled to try and understand their ancient minds. And as scientists unlock their secrets, the more remarkable they become. Way back in the Earth's history, in a period known as the Devonian, the only large animals on land were amphibian. Cold-blooded, sluggish creatures that breathed through their skin, so had to stay permanently moist. They could come ashore to hunt insects, but they'd always have to return to the water to lay their eggs. But 320 million years ago, things began to change. New creatures evolved, with dry, scaly skin that could retain moisture. And crucially, they had lungs and could lay their eggs on land. The reign of the reptiles had begun, and it was just the start of something big. For 180 million years, the Mesozoic period, reptiles ruled the seas, skies and land, some becoming the biggest creatures to walk the earth. The Dinosaurs dynasty was not to last. Nobody's sure why the dinosaurs died out. Perhaps climate change, or new diseases played a role. "65 million years ago, a huge asteroid hit the planet and wiped out the already diminished kingdom. The giants were gone, but the reign of the reptiles was far from over. From that very first scaly ancestor, the life of every reptile has started in the same way. That crucially reptilian breakthrough, the egg. A dragon's lair. Reptiles emerge as perfectly formed miniatures of their parents. Driven by instinct, they pull themselves free from their shell. The acts repeated throughout the reptile world. Though they are currently the size of a chicken's egg, these infants might have a glorious future. They could mature into one of the biggest reptiles alive today, the leatherback turtle. But their future is far from assured. Whether driven by the light, the smell of the waves, or the Earth's magnetic fields, the hatchlings know they must make it to the sea. Some emerge further up the beach, and flotsam becomes a deadly obstacle course. They have never walked before, but right from the word go, they must fight for their lives. With single-minded determination, they march on. The first wave has made it. But there are stragglers. They are not alone on the beach. Mobbed by ghost crabs, they reach the surf. Now the exhausted babies must deal with the fury of the ocean. Turtles lay huge clutches, and with good reason. Perhaps only 1 in 1,000 will survive. The world over, reptiles break free of their shells and begin the race for life. The only thing that limits the range of reptiles is temperature. From the sea to the scorching desert, the hottest places are a mecca for reptiles. Like their amphibian ancestors, reptiles can't generate their own body heat. They must absorb it from their environment. So after a cold night, they bask to warm up. Once the sun's worked its magic and hot blood bubbles through its veins, the turbocharged lizard can get to work. Because they don't have to warm themselves, reptiles are very efficient. They don't need much food and manage to scrape a living all over the world. It used to be thought that all reptiles were strictly cold-blooded, but more recently, the situation has been proven to be more complicated. When muscles are working hard, they generate heat, and in some of the larger reptiles, like turtles, the smaller surface area and large volume makes it possible to maintain the heat, keeping them warmer than their surroundings. In the case of the turtles, it's enabled them to conquer the cold seas. It's possible that the giant dinosaurs used this same method to keep themselves warm and active, but there were some dinosaurs that went further. Developing higher metabolisms, they were able to keep their bodies warm. These dinosaurs are still with us today, and we call them birds. Before the rise of reptiles, all of the creatures on Earth ate either insects or fish, but that was to change. Reptiles widened their menu. There were still those who ate insects, but others developed to feed partially or totally on plants. Some of these new vegetarians had specially shaped, rounded teeth, but others, like the tortoise, developed a sharp, bird-like beak that never stops growing, preventing it from wearing down. Others have taken their food acquisition to a whole new level. On the red-hot plains of Central Australia, a bearded dragon enjoys his vegetarian breakfast. But he's not alone. A king brown snake, one of the longest venomous snakes, topping a whopping 3 meters. This deadly hunter is capable of injecting huge quantities of venom to attack the nervous system of its prey, immobilizing it so it doesn't fight back. This chemical weapon is something that only a few specialist reptiles have developed. Often it's the well-armed snakes. The still snacking lizard is unaware of the threat. But when the danger is spotted, he has speed on his side, thanks to the baking Australian sun. The outback's a dangerous place though, and the hunter can easily become the hunted. The flicking forked tongue of a parenti has picked up its scent. The largest of Australia's monitor lizards, the parenti resembles its close cousin, the Komodo dragon. It can exceed 2 meters and 20 kilos. But despite its large size, it can easily outrun the fastest human. By expanding and contracting its throat, it can pump air into its lungs faster to keep up the oxygen supply. A bolt hole. Its tongue can taste the particles of scent. So like a bloodhound, it can follow the trail. Little stands in the giant's way. It has no problem tackling the most deadly of venomous snakes. All monitor lizards are excellent diggers. But it's getting hot, so the giant goes in search of easier prey. He heads to the waterhole to quench his thirst. And he's in luck. A swarming green mass. Thousands of budgies flock, coming together from all over the desert to take advantage of a rare waterhole. The birds whirl tightly together, a defense against predators. But not surprisingly, when they are this tightly packed, accidents happen, and victims of collision fall to the ground. The parenti is not above scavenging. Adaptability is the key to survival in the desert. Though monitor lizards are impressive predators, the reptile family went one stage further, developing the perfect killing machines. In Australia's wetlands, there lives a far greater threat. A creature that has barely changed since the time of the dinosaurs. And still the largest reptile alive today. The saltwater crocodile. Seemingly unaware of the threat, feral pigs forage around the lush fringes of the swamp. The crocodile needs only its eyes, ears and nostrils at the surface. Like a scaly submarine, it goes unnoticed. Its tooth-lined jaws can pack a bone-shattering punch, exerting over 3 tons of pressure. Giant crocs first evolved to drag dinosaurs to their death. A 90-kilo pig is disassembled in minutes. Thanks to powerful stomach acids, it can process the whole carcass, bones and all, leaving no trace of the pig. Humans have a bit of a mammalian superiority complex, and often consider reptiles primitive. But the scaly empire is easy to underestimate. Many of their senses are more highly developed than you might expect. Unlike many mammals, reptiles see in color. Some use pigment to help them blend into their surroundings. The matter further enhances the effect with leafy, textured skin. Its tube snout secures a lungful of air. Now it's ready to disappear. It can lie in wait, unseen. The master of disguise is the chameleon. 2 layers of skin can move against each other, changing the way they reflect light, the perfect invisibility cloak. The ultimate tool for a stealth killer. The Cameroon chameleon enhances the effect with a leafy costume. Who says dinosaurs are extinct? The Indian chameleon looks plain in comparison, but its simple green is ideal to merge with the sparse canopy. The common chameleon breaks up its shape with mottled browns, mimicking the dappled light of its Mediterranean home. Working the greens and browns gets him close to a lunch break. Chameleons have eyes that can move independently, and they watch intently as jungle dramas play out. The praying mantis, a deadly killer of the insect world, trains its eyes on a beetle. It failed to see its looming doom. Many reptiles also use color in bold displays to ward off rivals. Male agamids flash fleshy throats, or bob their colorful heads to attract the ladies and ward off competition, though it can be intimidating to all. The color signals can be at either end, and a fast-moving tail gives the lizard's flag a life of its own. In these vast, drab landscapes, it can be hard to catch anyone's eye. But he's doing all right, a female's coyly curling back. It might not look much, but a productive corner of desert with a well-situated rock pulpit, it's a reptile ideal home and well worth defending. If showing off works, it can bring a potential mate, but the work's far from done. Reptiles have developed some complex methods of securing a mate. Not all of them show much sophistication. A rampant tortoise in search of a mate. Charming is not a word in his vocabulary. He pursues a potential mate, aggressively nipping at her heels, even ramming her shell. All this violence helps get him in the mood, and if he's lucky, it might get her in the mood as well. But this time, he's knocking on the wrong door. Other reptiles take a more tender approach. The female grass snake releases a pheromone when she's ready to breed. Her musky perfume acts like a snake charmer, placing the males under her spell. A snake ball is where all the action takes place. Amid the orgy, the males caress the female, trying to persuade her to allow a successful mounting. Only she can decide which one is a worthy father for her children. This Casanova is extraordinary, even among reptiles. The shingleback appears to have a head at each end of its body, thanks to a short, fat tail. The double-ended pinecone appearance is designed to confuse predators. But the real surprise is that these lizards believe in long-term, monogamous relationships. After a year spent wandering the outback, males and females will find their way back to each other to breed. Every September to November, they hang out together. These romances have been documented to last for at least 20 years. Though for the rest of the year, they prefer to go it alone. But perhaps the king of romance is the least likely. Dragons wage war. The biggest crocodiles are most senior and hold and defend the best area of the river, places with the best fishing and basking spots. It's also where the dominant male will preside over the desirable females on his stretch of river. Neighborhood disputes are not pretty. But the deadly crocodile has a gentler side. To entice a female to mate with him, the male must woo her. This is courtship, dinosaur style. He creates a relaxing jacuzzi. By rapidly vibrating the air in his body with a low-frequency love song, he can make the water dance. And if he's lucky, it will tickle her fancy. After a successful mating, reptiles demonstrate the breakthrough that gave them the competitive edge so many millions of years before. As unlike amphibians, they lay their eggs on land. In the Amazon, huge freshwater turtles swarm the banks. All are female and all are pregnant. They come out together to reduce the risk of being attacked. As the riverbanks plunged into darkness, their long night of excavation begins. She needs to dig the nest to the perfect depth. Too low, and the eggs might get wet. Too high, and they'll dry out. The temperature of the nest will also dictate whether her babies are male or female. A deeper nest will be slightly cooler and is more likely to produce males. Fossils show that dinosaurs laid eggs in exactly this way, and it's a pattern echoed throughout reptile kind. But once the turtles have laid, they return to the river, mission complete. Much of scaly society lacks maternal instincts. They remain the love 'em and leave 'em kind. Most reptiles get no further help from their parents. After 2 months buried in the sand, these loggerhead turtles are finally ready to venture out. They have to be immediately independent. Their lives will be governed by instinct. They will know where to go, what to eat. They will probably never even lay eyes on their parents. Trackways on a sandbank reveal another mother, a female soft-shelled turtle. She spent the night laying eggs, but now, exhausted, she's ready to return to the water. A raccoon dog is onto her handiwork. It wants to eat the eggs, and she makes no attempt to stop it. Her only contingency is to lay a lot of eggs, and to hope that at least a few will survive. Eventually, a single youngster scrambles free of the nest. Its instinct-driven march is leading it to danger. It wants to get to water, not knowing that danger also lurks beneath the surface. It's a cannibal looking for an easy meal. Luckily, the little one's fast on its feet. It makes a dash for cover. Now it must find food. Soft shells are almost entirely meat eaters. At this size, any tiny invertebrates will do. But among the lilies, there are new threats. The infant gets lucky, the remains of a fish, the perfect first meal. The predator has lightning-fast reactions. Luckily, the little turtle does too. So reptiles, as a general rule, don't win any parenting skills. But there are a few exceptions. Again, it's the crocodile, a killer with a bad rep, that reveals a tender side. Her eggs are buried on a sandbank, but rather than simply leave them to develop and hatch, she stands guard. For 3 months, she'll try to make sure no harm comes to her brood. But despite having the fiercest jaws on the river, she's constantly under siege. Africa's big game can be a bit careless about where they put their feet. With each weighing well over a ton, it seems a sure recipe for a crocodile omelette. Hippos have been known to bite crocodiles in two, but that doesn't stop a bold defense. Any one of these heavyweights could crush the nest. She'll tirelessly continue her vigil for 3 months, staying beside her nest no matter the threat or the drying heat. But eventually, she's rewarded. Faint chirping from beneath the sand signal to her that the eggs are ready to hatch. As the babies start to emerge, she performs the most remarkable act. Those incredible jaws, with a bite force that can destroy a wildebeest, now act with extreme precision and tenderness to gently coax the babies from their shells and collect them in her throat pouch. She gathers as many as she can and then transports them to the river. By the time she's dropped off the first batch, more eggs have hatched and she must repeat the cycle. It's hot and tiring work, but she won't stop until all her little ones are safely relocated, which could be anything from 20 to 90 tiny crocs. It's known that at least some of the great dinosaurs cared for their young. Perhaps this is a window on the past. Soon her mission is complete. All of her little ones are in the water. But her job is far from over. Now she'll stand guard, keeping her babies close, constantly ready to defend them from any threat. She'll keep up this incredible level of parenting for 2 years until her babies are big enough to stand a chance of survival on their own. Crocodiles are great mums. This degree of care is just as complex and tender as that of many mammals and birds. So perhaps the instincts of reptiles are not as primitive as we often think. Some of those earliest scurrying reptiles began to walk more upright. They started to produce and store heat within their bodies, and their scaly skin changed its appearance, giving them an insulating layer of fur. Fast and intelligent, this was something new. It was the humble beginnings of a group of animals that took over the world. A group of animals that include us, the mammals. Our relationship with reptiles is often confused. We fear the cold-blooded creatures that we struggle to relate to. But in fact, reptiles have far more reason to fear us. Their habitats are being destroyed. They are killed for leather, caught as pets, or used in medicines. Many of these magnificent animals that have endured unchanged for millions of years are now under threat from human activity. Yet for all our success, for all the changes mammals have brought to the world, our cold-blooded ancestors are still at large. Though they face many obstacles, they endure, managing to continue their legacy. One thing is for sure, this will always be a planet where reptiles rule.